we need to start by cutting three 2.5 inch long pieces of wire and strip the ends just a little bit off of each end. You know what? Really, we need 6 of them. To cut 6 of these, about 2 to 2.5 inches long. Strip the ends of them off and get the copper exposed. And then we're gonna need a longer piece. This one here is the double wire. It's like a zip cord or shotgun cord, as they call it. This is from that barrel connector. This is another one I had like it. I've got a lot of this wire, so I'm just going to use this. But you want the thicker wire, the thickest wire you can get that will still be able to fit 2 of them together into one of those little relay modules. And I'll show you that here in a little bit. But we need to cut this back, and we're going to, I don't know, maybe about this much or something like that. Maybe a little longer. Depends on where you want to put the battery at, because this is where we're going to attach to the battery. So let's attach this. Strip the ends back a little bit. And then we're going to start twisting these things together. Just make a little daisy chain out of it, you might say. And then we're going to attach these to one of these. So when we're done, it should look something like this. Now, just to make this a little more secure, I'd really like to solder these. You don't have to, but you get a much more dependable connection if you use a little bit of solder. So I'm going to get a soldering gun here. A little bit of solder on each one of these. Now you should have something that looks kind of like this, with 6 little loops, 3 on one side and 3 on the other, all twisted together and soldered. Make sure you solder tin the tips on the ends. Make sure they're covered in solder. It strengthens them up, makes them a little better. These ends here, I stripped these back a good little bit, so I can take a 1/4-inch cut washer and spin it in there like that on each side, and I'll show you what that's for here in just a few minutes. Like that. You should have this device right here. Okay, now looking at the transmitter itself, we're going to be using these first 4 relays here right now. These are just for the drive mechanism. These are for the wheels. So we're going to be taking and attaching to these screws right here. You'll see there are little ports on the end. Let's see if I can get a good focus going. Now, we'll take a little screwdriver and we'll go through here and we'll unscrew these and make sure they're opened up. And I think they're all opened up at this point. Yeah, they look like they're all opened up okay. So I'm going to take this device that I made, and I'm going to take one leg of it, and I'm going to put into the very first lug, and then I'll tighten it down. Then I'll take the next one and put it into the very first lug of the next relay and tighten it down. And I'll just do that 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. And there we go. All of them installed. Now, we're going to do the same thing with the next ones, but instead of putting it in the first one, we're going to put it in the last one, because there are 3 lugs for every relay. This relay has these 3 lugs. We're going to not put anything in the middle right now. These next lugs are going to go into the 3rd slot. 3rd slot, 3rd slot, and 3rd slot. Okay, and that is now done. Now what would really be nice, if you can, color coordinate these wires. Make one side all black and one side all red, and that way you know which one's power and ground, because this here, where these washers are, will eventually connect to the battery. And this will supply power to these relays. Now, we're going to use 2 relays for one motor, and the other 2 relays for another motor. So, I have prepared these wires here and stripped the ends, and on these I've went ahead and tinned these and got them covered in solder. That'll just make them a little bit stronger, make a little bit better connection when we put them in those clamps. And the other end I did not tin at all. I just left them bare because I'm going to attach these to the motors. And I've got 2 sets of them, and I'm going to attach these to these relays. I'm going to put them in the middle slot, one there and one there, and that'll be 1 pair of wires, and the other will go in that middle one and in that middle one. And currently there's nothing in them right now. Okay, have them all done. This will connect to one motor, this will connect to the other motor, and then this will connect to the battery. And I'll show you how to do that when we mount this. This is just about as basic of a robot as I can be. Definitely not following any rules or anything. I'm just putting a platform together that we can make to move and roll around or something like that. So I've just got a piece of wood with another piece of wood on it, a roller bearing, a couple of drill motors on here that I've very roughly mounted onto this. I even stuck a piece of rubber under here, a little piece of rubber tubing under each one, just to keep the motor from twisting, because with just this plumber's tape on here holding this down, the whole motor wants to start spinning in the mechanism. Not enough friction, so I put a little piece of rubber under each one just to keep it on there. This is a motor off of a drill. Look kind of familiar? I just ripped this out and stuck a bolt in there, put some JB weld on it, and mounted a tire on here. And same thing to the other side. And you notice the wheels aren't even matched. Like I say, just a basic platform so we can see what this thing's going to do. Let's mount this thing. Take a little hot glue. I just love this stuff. Put a dab here and a dab there. Nothing real major. And just squish this down on it and call that mounted. Now, these here where the motors go, these motors will attach. These 2 wires coming off, we'll just attach one here and one here. And, I don't know which way they go. It might have gone the other way. I've got a 50-50 chance. But if I'm wrong, I'll just swap those 2 wires, so it's not a big deal. So we'll take the other one, we'll attach it up real quick. I don't think that's big enough. Let me strip these back a little bit more. Now, we need a battery, and here's a battery. Now, here's why I wanted to use those washers. Because these washers fit right in here nicely and make a good electrical connection, and we've hooked up the battery. We'll put that right there, and let's use a little Gorilla Tape to hold this down. Okay. Now let's see if this thing is working correctly. Oh, I guess I need to power it up. Okay, let me see if I can find the program again. There it is. Now let's connect to the robot.
Robot connection established.
Now, when I hit forward, both wheels should go forward. If either of them doesn't, I just need to swap the two wires. So let's see if that goes. Looks like this one over here does not go forward, so I'm going to swap those two wires real quick. There. Now when I push forward, both of them should turn that direction. And they look good. Now, we need to see if it turns right and left correctly. If they don't, if I tell it to turn right and it really turns left, I just need to swap the motors or the connections to the motors. So I'm going to do right. If I want it to turn right, that means this one should go forward and this one should go reverse. So, and that looks good. So left will probably be the opposite. Looking good. We have reverse. I think we have a functional, drivable robot at this point. You know what? It's missing something. I think it needs a weapon.
Robot connection established. Robot connection established.
Well, I may have misjudged the height of my weapon a little bit there, but it'll be okay for now. And the sun's out, so it's a little hard to see the headlights, but they work. Let's see what this thing does. A robot pilot, I am not.